Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. I wanted to talk to you about Little Flower by Regime de Fleurs. This is a 2019 perfume made in collaboration with the actress Chloe Sevigny. I don't know if you're too familiar with her. I know her from a few different things, but mostly her role on Big Love. It was an HBO show that was on in the 2000s where she played a Mormon wife, and I think that she's a good actress, and I think she's actually really pretty in a kind of unconventional way. So there's multiple things about her where I can understand why they would want to make a perfume in partnership with her. So let me tell you what the website says about this perfume. They say, "Here's what I know about my friend Chloe. It's all in the mix. She's a boundary pusher, iconic, edgy, and avant-garde, but then she'll surprise us with a truly elegant, ladylike touch. We created Little Flower together for her. Yes, the Ottoman rose is rich, but Cassis turns up the vibrancy, and Palo Santo gives it a woodsy, minty flounce. It's a city girl's rose. Wear it and be the coolest girl in the room." And that's what somebody named Aaliyah, maybe that's the owner of Regime de Fleurs, that's what they said about this perfume. And by the way, it was, yeah, I guess she's one of the perfumers, and the other perfumers are Ezra Woods and Jerome Epinay. And the notes for this perfume are, in the top, cassis, pomelo, and peony. In the middle, you have the Ottoman rose, honeysuckle, black tea, bleeding heart, and then in the base, you have Palo Santo, Gaiac wood, and aren't they the same thing? And then you have musk. So I can actually agree with what they said in that statement in regards to this perfume, how it comes across, but like only half of it, because they mention a edginess, avant-garde quality. They also mention, they use the word rebel in one of the other descriptions for this perfume. There's nothing rebellious about this kind of perfume. It's very much the second description that they gave about Chloe Sevigny, the elegant, ladylike type of woman or person. I can agree with that, because this to me comes across as a very innocent and demure type of perfume. If I had to describe the notes, what I get basically is I get a very peppery black tea, a tart peppery black tea, and that peppery quality I think might also come from this very clear vegetal fruitiness, and it almost feels like rhubarb, and that actually might be coming from the cassis in this perfume, because that does have overlap with rhubarb and vetiver, and then so does pomelo. So it does have this green, unripened fruitiness that pairs so well with that tea. So if I could give you a visual, to me it smells like a iced black tea with a few stalks of freshly cut rhubarb put in there, like how you would see celery in a Bloody Mary, a wedge of pomelo, unripened pomelo, and then garnished with peony. And I am choosing peony because to me this is not a very rosy perfume. If it is rosy, it's an extremely pale pink kind of rose, which I would say at that point it's much more about peony than it is rose. And I wouldn't really say that the rose is a main player. It really is this this unripened fruitiness with that tea, and the pepper quality does sort of diminish after about 15 or so minutes. It kind of goes away. Some people might feel like it sticks around a little bit longer, but for me it kind of goes away. And then it just does, it feels very airy, it feels very delicate, doesn't feel dense or heavy at all. I don't get any of the honeysuckle. I don't get any of the woods. I don't get any like Palo Santo. I'm so glad I don't get Palo Santo, because that for me is very challenging, and there's hardly a time where I like Palo Santo. What else? Bleeding Heart. I don't know that Bleeding Heart has a fragrance to it. I actually used to grow Bleeding Hearts, and I don't remember them smelling like anything. So that might just be like a fantasy note. And then what else did they include? Autumn and Rose. I don't really know. I think that's just a Turkish rose. Musk. It's not terribly musky. Yeah, so that's what I get out of this perfume. And yeah, I was kind of surprised when I smelled this, because it's not what I think of when I think of Chloe Sevigny. I think of somebody I think of her, I know she is born at the very tail end of Scorpio season. So she is like a Scorpio Sagittarius personality type, which I think of as kind of like mercurial, very jovial, expansive, more, I just associate that more with like maybe spices and a leather note, very musky maybe. This to me is so much more innocent and virginal. And I guess that's the side that they are maybe trying to highlight. I just really do not get anything avant-garde about this perfume. You might even say this is something you could see Gwyneth Paltrow coming out with, if that gives you any sort of idea of how it smells. What else can I say? Just thinking here. What I love about this is that a lot of these modern rose perfumes, they are way too syrupy sweet, they're almost cloying, especially like Delina, for example. I can't stand Delina. And it's so sad because, and I've mentioned this before, I do love the note of lychee, but the way it's done, especially in combination with rose, is kind of disgusting. It's very juvenile. I don't really like that at all. Little Flower is not like that at all. The sweetness on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say is probably like a 2. So very, very unsweetened. And the performance is surprisingly very good on me. I find that it lasts upwards of 6 hours. I don't even need to spray a ton on me. And as you can see, my bottle is pretty full. I've had it for a while, actually. But it does perform pretty well, and I'm pretty satisfied with how it wears. And I don't think you'd want something like this to be stronger than it is, because at that point it might translate more as like a very nice air freshener or as a very nice candle. So it's good that it kind of goes in line with its demure personality. If I could compare it with some other pink rosy kind of scents, you have something like Paul Smith Rose, which is one that I really do love. This one is a lot more rosy to me. I think Paul Smith Rose is the best pink rose perfume because it's so fresh, but it still maintains that intrinsic spicy floral smell that roses have without going too clovey. Really love Paul Smith Rose. So if you wanted more of a pink peony, pink rose, I would say go for Paul Smith Rose, or maybe Nirvana White by Elizabeth and James. That one is more floral than Little Flower. I also thought it might be similar to Flora Botanica from Balenciaga. And there are similarities. I could see the same person liking both. Flora Botanica, though, is a lot more green and herbal, whereas Little Flower to me is not herbal. Yeah, Little Flower is not herbal at all, but it's very fresh, unripened, fruity. Is there anything else I could say? I think that might be it. Yeah, it's a great fragrance. It's very clean. It's very upright, and I wouldn't say it's, even though it's nice and light, I wouldn't say it's like playful really. To me, it's more of a rigid, has more of like a rigidity to it. I can't really say why that is. Yeah, it just, I don't know, that's how I see it. Yeah, so that's all I have to say on Little Flower. Oh, I guess I should say, do I think that it's worth the price tag? I would say no. It's still a really beautiful perfume, and the presentation I think is really nice as well. I think you get bang for your buck, but I just don't think that, I mean, it's like near $300 for a bottle, and I just don't think that I don't really think any perfume is worth that unless it's guaranteeing you that it's using like a high quantity of a very rare type of floral extract or something like that. And even then, it's kind of up to you whether you think it's enjoyable enough to where I think that a cheapie like Paul Smith Rose kind of gets the job done, honestly. If you're trying to find something that's like a fresh, bright rose scent. But, you know, if you like tea a lot, and if you like maybe rhubarb, this might be worth the money to you. But there's a ton of other fragrances on the market that do a very similar job. And I would know because that's something that I really gravitate towards most of the time. And I think that that's everything I can think of to say. So thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later.